Welcome back to RAC Arena as we are just moments away from the first centre pass of the game of the round. The West Coast Fever and the Adelaide Thunderbirds, top of the table up against the reigning premiers, and another terrific crowd in at RAC Arena. They have been waiting weeks for this. Caitlin Bassett joining me in commentary, and the last time they met, Caitlin, a 1-goal difference. And what we should say is the last 2 times they met, a 1-goal difference, but both to the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Surely that fills them with unbelievable confidence.
I think it does. I think getting a win over Fever is a ridiculously hard thing to do, and even more so in the form that they've put out there this season. So that'll take confidence that they actually know what to do. Yes, the Fever lineup has changed a lot since last year, but they still have that dominant shooter that we can see here on screen, and they need to shut her down and draw from what they did last time.
Well, have a look at the face of Janelle Fowler-Nembhard. You would imagine she woke up this morning and knew that the biggest battle of her season is about to unfold. Absolute respect for her opponent tonight in her fellow Jamaican teammate, Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, as we take a look at the Woolworths team cards for the West Coast Fever.
Yeah, look, Shanice Beckford, the 2 Jamaicans in the circle here today. Alice Teague-Neal in that wing attack. She was so dominant last week. Just Estes in the centre again with no Kelsey Brown. Sunday Ariang, one of the Ariang sisters on court. Fran Williams back there in goal defence. We can see running out now the English captain, and then Katie Ann Deganey, as you like to call her, Dehaney there in that goalkeeper position. She has been incredible so far for the Fever this year.
So the West Coast Fever enjoying a very good start to the season, but they will know about their opponents very, very well after reviewing the games last year and watching their form in last week's game, a 22-goal victory over the Mavericks. And that lady there, look, not a lot of words spoken. They are having dinner together tonight after the game, all the Jamaicans heading back to Janelle Fowler-Nembhard's house. But I can tell you, folks, they will not be friends until this game is over. So we get underway with the first centre pass. Fever will go to the right, but the Adelaide Thunderbirds will take the first centre pass. And let's not forget the lady there in the goal shooter bib, Romelda Aiken-George. 3-time premiership player with the Queensland Firebirds, and paved the way for Jamaicans to come out to Australia alongside Carla Borrego. Lauren Fruit, a good start and a confident one.
Yeah, a good steady start, and let's not forget Romelda Aiken-George is the OG Jamaican. She paved the way, she came out here, she played for so many years with the Queensland Firebirds before switching to the Swifts, and now at the Thunderbirds, as we see Fever just work that ball patiently to the circle edge to get their first goal.
So Taylor Williams just approaching the umpire, claiming the ball's a little flat, and so that will be replaced. And some people might say, Caitlin, that's a little bit OTT, but it's not. Players know how much air they want in their netball.
It's true, it affects everything.
Oh, high ball in, great little contest up in the air between Dehaney and Aiken-George. Katie Ann Dehaney with the Sunshine Coast Lightning for the last 2 years. It comes across to the Fever. And Aiken-George with the Swifts played a grand final. Look at this Harvey Norman moment.
The vision was there, just the execution a little bit too short. Sure to see plenty of them happening at both sides. That was the opposite, that was too much on it.
Well, there you go, the first win. Going defensively to Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, the best in the league for intercepts. Garrett, so great transition for the T-Birds. Gorgeous. Positions the ball perfectly to Aiken-George. Their relationship is growing week in, week out.
It's building really nicely, isn't it? And I feel like Aiken-George just has that ability to be able to play in so many different combinations. She's slotted in so nicely at the Swifts. She's finding her way perfectly here at the Thunderbirds and become their dominant go-to shooter to start off with. And I'm really loving that interplay so far between her and Frew. Frew looking straight into the circle and connecting early.
Oh, what a start for the away side here, 4-1. And there's another moment. So the defence of the Adelaide Thunderbirds doing what they've done for the last couple of years. And the West Coast Fever have not been in this position at all in season 2024. Aiken-George takes the high ball, Porges. The swing to Frew. They'll look to set up Aiken George at the side. So using a terrific triangle placement around the circle to open up the attacking side of Aiken George. 5-1 and the Thunderbirds centre pass to follow. They have absolutely quietened the crowd here in Perth.
Yeah, I don't think many people have tipped that start. Jess Anstis currently negative 5.5 Nissan net points, negative 6 for Fowler Nemard, so definitely smothering supply to her. They're doing a fantastic job and just releasing the ball. So much confidence, as we can see. A bit of a fumble there from Ronaldo Aiken George, snapped up by Dehaney. What can Fever do with it?
So Williams trying to work their way through. Good ball from Teague Neal, real confidence. And then they find Fowler Nemard, and that's just woken up the crowd here in Perth. So they turn over the Adelaide Thunderbirds centre pass, a chance for 2 in a row here for the Fever. Ariang and Williams. Huge attention from Garrett being paid to Shanice Beckford as the two goats hit the deck. So they'll wipe the court here. Shamira Sterling Humphrey. This is going to be a battle between these two, and I get the feeling that you'll see moments of Fowler, then Sterling Humphrey. Fowler, then Sterling Humphrey. Oh, geez.
Yeah, that Harvey Norman replay, just looking in long, delivering it long, but just no landing space as two players slip over. It can get dangerous out there. Good to see the floor's been wiped.
So the Thunderbirds into attack. Another wayward ball. It'll go to the Thunderbirds off Dehaney. Oh, and then just seeking clarity here from the umpire. So contact on Sunday, Ariang. Penalty set outside the circle. Aiken George hits the front, but she's the #1 offensive rebounder. So she'll have another go. Terrific start for Adelaide. 6-3 in the first 5 minutes of play.
That time in possession on screen there really telling. 63% to the Thunderbirds, only 33% to the Fever. So Fever really not getting much of the ball.
Well, have a look at the defence here, and the West Coast Fever have had to use the ball 7 or 8 times as they continue. Contacts the call, so it'll release the pressure. But Natalie Medhurst, that sort of defensive play over time can punish the West Coast Fever.
Thunderbirds just forcing those numerous passes, but for the Thunderbirds attack, just keep an eye particularly on Williams and Horges and how they're changing their speed. They're using the body to help actually open up space for them.
Beckford. Nowhere to go on the second phase. Lucky to get away with that one. Latanya Wilson is a rash on Alice Teague Neal.
So is Matilda Garrett. She's doing the same thing. Every time Beckford has the ball, she turns around, she's got Garrett in her face. She's doing the hard yards early.
Well, at times the unsung hero, isn't she, Garrett, when the stats sit fundamentally with the two Jamaicans alongside her in the defensive unit. Gorgeous. Aiken George, a quick 1-2. Looks a little awkward with the feet, so swings. And then sets up high. So finding the circle edge well here, the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
She's such a dominant target when she gets in that one-on-one tee hold, isn't she, Sue? You just give her the ball, give her that confidence, put it up high in the end. You know she's going to snap it in.
The Fever looking in all sorts of trouble here, just over the transverse line. Teague Neal to set the penalty. Fowler Nemard on the mismatch with Garrett. Great hand from Shamira Sterling Humphrey. And it drops to Fowler Nemard, 6 straight. Williams working with Frew, so they'll chip away here to the circle edge. Gorgeous, well, holding in front for 172 centimetres. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
She's not the shortest player in that team. That goes to Laura Sherian, but she doesn't have heart on her side. When she's in that front position, she really needs to muscle up and step onto the ball.
Well, the West Coast Fever have found their nemesis in the Adelaide Thunderbirds here on a centre pass. Their patience to get across will wear them down surely over 60 minutes if this keeps up. Out wide, Anstis. And Teague Neald hits the deck. A little push it was from Wilson, unnoticed by the umpires. But it doesn't matter, the Adelaide Thunderbirds go into attack.
Look at that, general play turnovers. Fever are leading the league at the moment for the least amount of turnovers. This is going to be damaging to their stat. It's just a testament to the pressure that the Thunderbirds defenders are putting on. And you can see in that last play is Katie Ann Dehaney.
Oh, gee, the pickup to Horges.
Oh, and Fran Williams waiting there to mop up. That was beautiful piece of defence work. Dehaney came out, she took a chance, she took a risk, and she had a player backing her up.
Oh well, Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, again, showing just incredible athleticism to contest that ball. It lands with the Fever, though. And we certainly said, Caitlin, that the best attacking side up against the best defensive side, this is all about testing the pressures, isn't it, of each?
It sure is, and look, it's interesting to see Shanice Beckford, as we can see here, this beautiful contesting here from Dehaney. She chased it up, backed up by Fran Williams, but Fever wary of using their get-out-of-jail-free card and just bombing it in long when they've got a Sterling-Humphrey in the circle. Katie Ann Dehaney, she is on so far this game.
So, racking up the stats early on her Jamaican teammate in Romelda Aitken-George, and Harvey Norman replay showing you just that. One intercept apiece. Deflections, a few each. Quick offload, and then loose hands from Fowler Nemmard. Well, that is pressure.
That is. Is her best friend getting under her skin, do you think?
Well, I think they'll get under each other's skin, but at the moment, Shamira Sterling-Humphrey is all over Fowler Nemmard, in my opinion, for what it's worth.
I would agree. I think what you said before as well, it's going to be to and fro between dominance between these two players, which is great to see as we can hear the buzzer for the Power 5.
Aitken-George just passing out. Lauren Frew working her way in. 3 from 8 from here, and the Adelaide Thunderbirds opt for the one, which is what they've done for the best part of this season. Their accuracy just at 43% from super shot, so their method has been take the ones. And the HCF tactical timeout called by Adelaide as they lead by 3 with 4:41 on the clock. Terrific first quarter unfolding here at RAC Arena.
Confidence way too low, not at standard, but we're still in the contest, all right? So let's come out and get the run.
And then you and Diddy are back here, and then Diddy's having to come out, so this is what I want you to do, like you do leads. So we come through, and or if you can see that one of you then needs to cross chase down or something, you know? Can't have both of you there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's some really, just give yourself some depth to come back, so it's quite shallow. Yeah?
Let's go. One centre pass.
Okay, remind yourself of your role.
Let's be composed, yeah? Let's go.
Well, let's focus on this as the Adelaide Thunderbirds come out of their tactical timeout. In the first quarter, they've been able to hold their opponents to an average of 11 goals in the first quarter. The Fever upwards of 17 goals by their opponents. So defensively, they get in their mind of the opposition. The Fever sitting at 7 at the moment. That'll be their lowest return in 11.5 minutes so far this season.
That's right, and what a great test at this stage of the season. Round 6, playing against the reigning premiers, it is really good chance to see where you're at as Janice Beckford puts up her first goal so far from the match.
Well, it's going to be an attempt at a super shot, and the confidence from Janice Beckford. Suncorp super shot drops the scoreline. Now back to 1. Over to Natalie Medhurst inside the West Coast Fever huddle at that break.
He animated in that break and he said, we are too slow, we are too laboured. He's wanting his team to actually move with conviction, and we saw a bit of that just then, so they want to continue that in this Power 5.
Fowler Nemmard out on the lead, back to the line. So again, Adelaide doing an enormous amount of work to hold the West Coast Fever up the court.
There's no easy option for the West Coast Fever. They're forced to work it back, chip it around. Nice little rebound there. I love it when the shortest person in the circle gets the rebound.
Well, she's drawn the contact on Sterling Humphrey twice in a row. The rebound this time with Fowler Nemmard. And the West Coast Fever now within 1. Janissa net point match leaders, and Georgie Horges doing what she's been doing. She's the talk of the town at the moment, this young wing attack for Adelaide. Stop loading there to Frew.
Yeah, Horges is such an exciting player. 22 years old. I'm calling it early. Katie Andahaney, I don't know what's going on, but she is having an absolute blinder. She's come to play today against her Jamaican teammate.
Williams, patience, looks, and then throws the ball straight to Deganey. What a start for her.
She's got the ball on the string early in this quarter, that's for sure. 4 deflections, 1 intercept, not too shabby.
Jordan Kransberg straight into the wing attack role. Alice Teague-Neal benched. Wow. There's Katie Andahaney's moment. There's been a few of them. Kransberg, the speed, look at that go. The entry from Kransberg. And then at the other end of the court, rolling off is Romelda Aiken-George, and onto the court, Lucy Austin. 2 minutes to play out in the opening quarter. The West Coast Fever have hit the front. Fran Williams! Oh, read it early!
That hung in the ball for such a long time. Fran Williams read that perfectly, and she kept her feet following through. That's how she managed to get that ball.
England Roses captain. Got her full game starting at goal defence last week again for the West Coast Fever, and the captain Jess Anstis finds easy post with Fowler Nemmard, and that pleases the head coach Dan Ryan. 90 seconds to play on the clock, not a miss for Fowler Nemmard, and Beckford the 1 super shot.
Momentum has completely changed in this game. The crowd has come into it, they're getting excited.
So we'll get Natalie Medhurst to keep her eyes on Alice Teague-Neal, who is just getting some treatment at the moment from the doctor of the West Coast Fever. And again, unable to get the hands working, Fowler Nemmard on the rebound. So 58 seconds to play out, very low scoring, which is what the Adelaide Thunderbirds keep their opposition to doing. Williams, high ball up, had a look at it, Beckford, Garrett too strong, Horges off the circle edge, works with Frew. Lucy Austin, didn't she make a name for herself last year with the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and the big super shots in overtime. Makes a single on this occasion, 22 National League games to her name. This will be number 23. So, really hard to hear the umpire here, but it won't matter. 7 seconds, and the West Coast Fever know they've got to be quick. It'll be an obstruction outside the circle. Anstis knows, and it's a contact on the siren. So Fowler Nemmard to take the penalty, a single, slots it in. And the West Coast Fever somehow find their way to the front amongst enormous defence from the Adelaide Thunderbirds. And all we can say is, what a terrific first 15 minutes. Buckle in, get prepared. This is going down to the wire right here on Fox Netball.
Welcome Welcome back to RAC Arena. Huge game on our hands here. Fever leading by 2 points heading into the second quarter. I'm here with injured Fever mid-quarter, Kelsey Brown. Kelsey, firstly, thank you for joining us, but what is going on with you at the moment?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a knee niggle when I came out of the Swifts game. Obviously last week, just sort of trying to get it right. And yeah, it's been an interesting one. I'm sort of back running at the moment and hoping to get up for the game next week.
And starting off, obviously a huge game, bit slow out of the blocks for the Fever. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, I think for us, we knew today was going to be a big game. We're coming up against probably the best defensive unit outside of what I would think is ours. But yeah, I think Thunderbirds really put the pressure on, clamped us down throughout that goal third. And once we found the middle a little bit more, we're finding Jay a little bit easier. So I feel like we're coming out of this break pretty well.
And Dan, at the break, just heading into the super shot, he did have a bit of a crack at the players, said they were looking very laboured and they seemed to adjust to that. What was his message at quarter time?
Yeah, he was much happy with how they came out of the break. I feel like the spray did us a world of good. I didn't really hear it, but I said to the girls, you know, what was he saying? And yeah, I think Dan's really measured in his approach with how he delivers that feedback, but he was really happy with the girls and how they finished out the quarter.
Great, well, thank you for joining us. All the best for the rest of the game. Make sure you stay hydrated. And Gordy, back to you.
Thank you, Nat, and thanks, Kelsey Brown, for your time. That was quarter time, brought to you by Origin Energy. The scoreline 14-12. The West Coast Fever held to their equal lowest first quarter score. Mavericks also had them at 14. And that is what the Adelaide Thunderbirds are capable of doing. But the Fever found their way back. How do they open up in this second quarter? Latanya Wilson's ability to get hand to ball is just unbelievable. Alan Emmart. So 12 goals in the opening, no misses. That's number 13. Garrett off the back. Does an enormous amount of work, these two defenders here for Adelaide. Gorgeous vision straight to Aiken George. Caitlin, good to see the confidence continue, even though Katie Ann, we're going to keep calling her Dehaney has had a brilliant opening quarter. Well, third loose hands from Fowler Nemmart. But this ball to go in here on the Harvey Norman replay, they need to continue to have the confidence, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And it is confidence. It gives confidence to the shooter when you put that ball in. Gives confidence to the whole team. As we can see, it's just getting a little bit scrappy here. Another turnover for the Thunderbirds, which the Fever pounce on. And what I'm finding really interesting is that wing attack position, Alice Teague-Neal, leading the league in goal assists, second in centre pass receives. She is on the bench.
Mira Sterling-Humphrey elevates above Fowler Nemmart and gets the deflection. And then they put her under all sorts to get the ball. And the five-time Suncorp Super Netball MVP, and the lady that just deflected that was last year's MVP. Aiken George. He's strong. Spent a little bit of time in the Super Shot period on the bench. That's number 10 with the one miss, which she rebounded and then slotted in. Lovely second face, Kranjberg. So no easy road. To be blatantly honest with you, they haven't had an easy road to Fowler Nemmart in any centre pass so far. It's been disturbed by Sterling-Humphrey on every occasion. Those deflections, and that will turn to gains very, very soon, as Latanya Wilson is a highlights package on her own as a wing defence around the circle edge. Just extraordinary.
And this is where Fever need to show more discipline. They can't put anything in the air. It's getting eaten up at the moment. It's getting tipped. It's getting deflected into the Thunderbirds' hands. They need to play really smart as, Katie Ann Dehaney wins one back. She gets a contact against Romelda Aiken-George there, so she's happy with that one. What I really want to see here, though, is for Fever to be patient. Chip, work it low, work it back if they need to.
So into attack for the West Coast Fever. Alice Teague-Neal went to the bench in that first quarter. Any update from you, Natalie Medhurst, on that?
Yeah, she was just seeing the doctor when she came off the bench. She had some blood, so getting that fixed.
We'll get back to Nat in just a moment. As Beckford slots in down the other end. There's Alice Teague-Neal watching on. Hasn't done that at all this season.
Beckford's going to be a big part to getting Fever this win today. She hasn't put up many shots, just one super shot, and that was her first 1-point goal. So her cutting around the top of Fowler Nemard and really getting in that space and drawing the defence is going to be important in breaking apart that really dominant Thunderbird defence. Aiken-George just doing her job under the post. During that 1-point game period, she knows she just needs to knuckle down and stay really strong.
Let's see if we can get back down to Nat Medhurst.
Okay. So Alice Teague-Neal, guys, so she came off the bench towards the end of that first quarter. She went and saw the doctor to have some blood treated, but it was also coincided with a change for the Fever. It was a beautiful feed there by Beckford into Fowler Nemard. So depending on how Fever continues, she does appear fit to go. But for everyone as well, just keep an eye on the Thunderbirds zone that they're putting on through the mid-court when they have a turnover, which we might see now.
Good news for Teague-Neal fans is the West Coast Fever somehow get that ball through to Fran Williams, and then they turn it over. So Natalie Medhurst, you were all over that like a rash. And terrific defensive setup by the Adelaide Thunderbirds, catching the West Coast Fever off guard. And the scoreline now back to 2. Fever still in front. There's your turnovers, goals from. Out to the pocket, Beckford, quick offload, flying in Superwoman fashion was Sterling Humphrey, but the ball made its way this time for the Fever. Garrett off the back, strong, held up though. Looking for Horges, she sets the play. There she is holding front position, clever. And then the cut and drive to the circle edge. She is the playmaker, Horges. And Deganey again, another little tap, but then the contact to follow.
Yeah, disappointing there. She did all the hard work. She forced that tip. Then just to give an access in the goal circle, something that she's going to have to watch.
Oh! Aiken-George, well, goes for the rebound and then gives a little look sideways at Katie Ann Dehaney. So the West Coast Fever, 2 goals the difference. Anstis under full stretch.
Oh, Taylor Williams, she narrowly avoided going offside. Fever are not happy with that one, as you can see on Fowler Nemard's face as they turn the ball over. Long connection down court, as we see here on the replay. Just a one-handed tip.
And the finish, no, a held ball. So Aiken-George and Katie Ann Dehaney having a great battle to the right of the screen, and then up the other end, Aiken-George and Sterling Humphrey. Williams. And then a nice little offload to the left-hand side, finding Fowler Nemard. And the West Coast Fever again pushing the scoreline out to 3. 17 to Fowler Nemard, leading the way. Williams. Aiken-George miles away from home. Oh, but then finds a quick 1-2 with Horges.
That was a nice little change up there, just moving the ball, getting it low. Dehaney's got the last couple of tips, so they need to play it low to outsmart her. As we can see here on that Harvey Norman replay, a beautiful flick to the top of the circle to Horges and back to the post.
Out wide, Horges, Kranzberg, the swing to the top, but cleverly met defensively by the Thunderbirds. Williams into the pocket, swings. Look at the width the Adelaide team here are using. And then over the top, the highway to Aitken George. With goal number 15, just too shy of Janelle Fowler-Nemard at the other end. And the scoreline now back to 1. So a 7-6 opener here for Adelaide. And a HCF tactical timeout called by the West Coast Fever. Let's take a listen to Dan Ryan.
To make those changes. Al, Shanice and George just come over here for a sec. George, come over here. We've got to get into a mindset of being a little bit more direct to our post now. All right, we're really overlooking Jay one-on-one because we're so consumed around what's happening in front of us. All right, so let's get you working phase 1. So work rate nice and high for phase 1. Get them on your back for phase 2 and take your deep ball side drives. All right, you're then got to be the link. You must be that strong angle for it afterwards. All right, so more about patterns, more about flow. Just get in the groove of it. All right, back each other in a bit more. Okay, let's go. Work rate's really good. All right, so keep that up straight away. Turn inside Jay straight away. Okay. Okay, hands in, guys. All right, we're absolutely in a grind here, going goal for goal. We all need to be really comfortable with that. But when our moments come, it's shoulders back and stand up in those times. All right, let's go together. Come on.
So the West Coast Fever make their way out of the huddle. Choice words there from Dan Ryan. Continues to surge his players forward and calls the change. Ellis Teague-Neal comes back on. Jess Ansis into wing defence and Jordan Cransberg moves into the centre. Trying to find a way here. The West Coast Fever under enormous pressure from Adelaide.
Interesting to see in that break. Lucy Austin didn't even listen to the team huddle. She was out practicing her shots, warming up, because she knows once that hooter goes at 5 minutes, she's going to be required to get out there on court and shoot those 2-pointers.
Just shy of 90 seconds away from the power 5. That's a good return from Teague-Neal. Gives a little nod of the head. And a goal-for-goal battle unfolds here at RAC Arena. Round 6, reigning premiers, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, putting some pressure on almost an unfathomable West Coast Fever in the first 5 rounds. Gorgeous. Little play with Frew on the corner pocket. And a swing, so they're showing some real patience here, Adelaide. Working the ball to open up the front space. Aitken George. Tied up, 21 apiece.
Both feet defenders just standing behind their shooters in that circle gave them the easy option for a nice goal as a settler. They're winning this quarter so far, 9-7, the Thunderbirds. Fowler-Nemard being forced up high, wanting to work the ball around. That was a beautiful roll from her. Just gave herself plenty of space, which meant Sterling Humphrey had nothing to go at.
Hannah Petty, the captain, now on in at centre for Adelaide. And always has enormous impact when she comes onto the court. And that's a captain's pass, isn't it? Into Aitken George. As the power 5 goes.
And the 2 our young sisters in the circle there. Aitken George, that really dominant take there. She put her body on the line to muscle into that one to make sure she secured that ball.
Just loving watching the 2 coaches have such confidence in the depth of their bench. Beckford puts Cransberg under enormous pressure in the pocket. And the footwork call on Teague-Neal.
You don't see that one very often at this level, as we can see there. Wilson juggling on 1 foot. Aitken George runs out of court, manages to keep it in. Thunderbirds really scrapping for everything in this game.
Well, that got the coach and the team of the Adelaide Thunderbirds to their feet. And it just goes to show you the importance of the game. So have a look at this moment. Aitken George keeps ball in play. And then it was a real hustle for the pickup.
Frew goes for the 2. Both defenders out of play.
Suncorp super shot from Lauren Frew puts the Adelaide Thunderbirds in front by 2. And a big smile on the face as it occurred. That's what you like to see. Here goes Adelaide. Back to the line. The patience again from Petty.
Such a strong take there. Georgie Hoare just put her body on the line. Kranzberg, she's been doing an absolutely incredible job in centre. She's so tough out there. Nice, easy delivery to Aiken George underneath the post. Fever will be happy that they just take the 1.
So a settling 1-point shot takes Adelaide out by 3. They were ahead by 4 in the opening quarter, but look at that. 7 of the last 10.
It's an all-Jamaican shooting circle there. Defenders for the Thunderbirds, shooters for the Fever. Tilda Garrett having a rest on the bench as Latanya Wilson slides across into that goal defence position on her good friend Shanice Beckford.
So the penalty off the circle edge, Horges. Oh, terrific pass over the flying Ariang sisters, and Hannah Petty puts the thumb up. She likes it.
The maturity of Lauren Frew, this is her first season at this level. She has been an absolute find for the Adelaide Thunderbirds and slotted in perfectly, hasn't she?
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Look at there's the Harvey Norman replaying that beautiful pass. There you go, the high ball into Fowler Nemart. Not enough on it into the pocket though, and Petty gets a little look. The Thunderbirds defend around the circle better than anybody in the league. Fowler Nemart now to find a super shot. It didn't look overly pretty, but it made its way there. Back to 1. Adelaide has to go the high road.
Oh, that was lucky to come off. Probably those big hands. She didn't have quite enough on that ball. Ruth Ariang just falling short. Fever doing absolutely everything to pressure this ball going into the circle.
90 seconds to the difference in a terrific opening 30 minutes of netball here. Fowler Nemart again. The crowd want it. Oh, gee, she toys with the 3 seconds. And then the rebound. Well, it's not to be, and Taylor Williams hustling in wing defence on the outside. And this is a big win moment if the Adelaide Thunderbirds can slot one in. Gorgeous. Plenty of time, a minute to play out in the half-time break. Aiken George over the top. Lauren Frew finds the 2-point shot range easy. Doesn't want it though. Maybe a very smart play as they hold their nose in front by 3, 40 seconds, and their centre pass, the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
Lauren Frew yet to miss a goal so far in nearly 30 minutes of netball. 4 from 4. Goals from gains, well, huge for the Thunderbirds. Goals from turnovers, as we can see there. The Fever picking up a really important intercept.
15 seconds to play through to post. The ball put straight to the hands of Latanya Wilson. She's called for contact. I find that odd. 8 seconds, 6 seconds. They'll take the single. It drops in on the tick of the clock. The West Coast Fever will have the final say here on the scoreboard or on the goalpost. But it's the Adelaide Thunderbirds that absolutely owned that quarter, a 16-12 quarter. And they'll go into the big break with a 2-goal lead. And the undefeated top of the table, the West Coast Fever, they are under some real pressure in this game. And both sides having to rotate their players to find solutions. So the Adelaide Thunderbirds make their way back to the rooms, and we'll head down to Natalie Medhurst in just a moment as she's joined by the captain of the West Coast Fever, Jess Anstis.
Jess, a big first half for you guys. You came out firing in that second quarter. What do you put the second half of that quarter down to?
Yeah, I think we in the first we were a bit slow, and they were definitely on top of us, and we lacked some energy. So, yeah, we upped our work rate to try and get back in the contest.
And you guys have had it, I guess, pretty easy to speak to up until now, particularly through the mid-court. You've been really able to use your speed. They're really shutting you down. What do you think you need to do differently to counteract that?
Yeah, they're really on our body, so I think it's just letting it go. We're hesitating a little bit, so yeah, making sure we keep letting it go and backing in our players to take the ball.
And do you expect Dan will make any changes heading into this next half?
I'm not sure. No, I wish I could tell you, but we've got depth in the team, so yeah, to get the energy going, might have some changes.
All right, we'll get in the change rooms and good luck for the second half.
Well, what an enticing first 30 minutes of netball it's been here at RAC Arena. We've already had a terrific first game of the round, and when we head into Sunday tomorrow, we've got two blinding games coming your way as the Firebirds and the Mavericks are going to fight it out, both desperate for a win to keep their season alive. And of course then, the New South Wales Derby. Well, we all love that, and that'll be the New South Wales Swifts hosting Giants netball, and of course the Giants off their extra time game last week. Was that the spark they need? Don't go anywhere as netball here in Perth continues. We'll wrap up this halftime game in our show just on the other side of this break. Well, the game of the round certainly delivering all the spice that we expected, and it really has been about the bookends, hasn't it? Katie Ann Dehaney and Romelda Aiken-George, a terrific battle. Then at the other end of the court, Fowler Nemard and Shamira Sterling-Humphrey. And girls, it is delivering absolutely everything we expected it to be. The West Coast Fever are really being put under pressure for the first time this season, Caitlin.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, they pulled it out in the first half. They were struggling, only 7 goals, and then managed to score 7 from 10 to really close out that first quarter and take the lead by 2 in quarter time. But the Thunderbirds came back so strongly in that second, 16-12. Absolute dominance and just hunger all over the court to really pick up ball. It wasn't just their defenders. Taylor Williams picked up ball, so it's fantastic to see.
Well, thanks for joining us here at the halftime show, brought to you by Origin Energy. And this battle on court, Natalie Medhurst, is worth the price of admission. If I said to you who's winning it, could you call it?
No, it's impossible to pick it. We're seeing, I guess, those momentum swings that we always talk about, but it's really evident in this game. And I think what both teams are doing to each other really well is trying to clog up that middle of the court. It's forcing players to go out wide. The teams are having to work it around a lot more, but as you said, it's really hard to pick actually who has the upper hand.
Well, the West Coast Fever have certainly been trying to find answers in attack. We saw Alice Teague-Neal, Caitlin, head to the bench. Jordan Kransberg came on with some real punch, but they've been struggling to find their way through this very impressive defence end.
That's right. It's probably the first time this season they've really struggled to get circle edge, and when they struggle to get circle edge, they can't just bomb that ball long to Fowler because, of course, we have Sterling-Humphrey waiting for that high ball to come in her playground there. So Fever definitely under pressure. They've had to work it around a little bit more. They've had to really be disciplined at times as well, and they're definitely not winning as much ball in the defensive end either.
Well, they're up against what we said was the best defensive side in the league, Nat. And we always talk about a Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, but for me it's been, and I don't mean to be rude to Romelda Aiken-George, but the other 6 players on the court are an enormous defensive unit for Adelaide. They're doing the job, aren't they? Oh,
absolutely. And as Caitlin touched on before, all their players are getting touches on the ball. They're really clogging up and slowing down that Fever midcourt, which previously Fever have been able to rip teams apart with their speed. And as we touched on pre-game around the importance of Shanice Beckford as well, but that's one of the players that Thunderbirds have really been able to slow down. As we see their stats, shooting percentage for both teams has been good, but Thunderbirds are doing a great job all over the court.
All right, well, we're going to set ourselves up for a terrific next 30 minutes of netball, but as we head to the break, we want you to check out what the team at Woolworths have been up to in preparation for the season.
The Woolworths Pick Fresh, Play Fresh game is back.
Drum roll, please.
To play along at home and win some fantastic prizes, scan the code and head to the Pick Fresh, Play Fresh hub. Giants! This game is called Which Food Am I?
So the first one goes on top of things. Cherry.
Straight away!
The next one is, it goes in a salad, sometimes with like rocket.
Similar colour to an apple.
High five, good girl. Okay, this one, you can roast it or you can mash it.
It's the same colour as a carrot.
Ooh, it's my favourite vegetable, sweet potato.
Me too!
You have inspired me for dinner. Well done, guys.
Well, I hope you're enjoying all the action here at ROC Arena. A Saturday night netball and a blistering game unfolding. Dan Ryan in amongst his charges. And the West Coast Fever in unfamiliar territory, Caitlin Bassett. Yet to see this position so far this season.
Yes, and what a good challenge to have during the rounds. We knew this was going to be a tight game, and Thunderbirds have brought their A game. We have seen some brilliance. Both sides have had momentum at times during this match. I cannot wait for this next 30 minutes of netball.
14-12, the Fever snuck their nose in front in the opening quarter, and then a great return from the visitors, 16-12 to the Thunderbirds. And look at the smiles on the faces. It's Adelaide that's smiling, and it's the West Coast Fever that look like they're under a little bit more pressure. Mike and George enjoying a bit of dancing in the background. So we'll get ourselves underway in the third. And the West Coast Fever haven't lost a third. Adelaide Thunderbirds, though, haven't been great finishers this season. Going to get down to the head coach of the West Coast Fever, and I have no doubt that moment won't have thrilled him. Dan Ryan. A little different for you as a coach this game, certainly under enormous pressure from the opposition.
Yeah, nowhere near our best at the moment, which is a little bit frustrating, but 30 minutes is a long, long time, and I just want to see us get into our groove a little bit more and do what we do well better.
What was the instructions to the players at half-time? Dan, this is an unfamiliar position. What do you need to tell them to get back out on track?
Well, first and foremost, we've got to embrace it. Not every game is going to be a 34-goal win, so we need to be prepared to grind and go goal for goal and chase a deficit and all those types of things. So we need to lean into this opportunity, and most importantly, we've got to take it on. We're just not taking it on as we have or should, and hopefully we can make some adjustments in this second half.
Alice Teague-Neal came off the court for a little bit. She's back on now. Is she tracking okay?
Yeah, she's had a bit of blood on the knee, so had to come off in that moment. And in that period of time, Jordan was great in wing attack, so an option up our sleeve if we need it.
Enjoy the challenge, Dan Ryan.
Cheers, guys.
Coach of the West Coast Fever. And what terrific access we continue to get during a game, particularly one of this nature, where the coaches take their time out to tell us the ins and outs. 27-30. The scoreline. Lauren Frew. Little short. Rebound though. Stretching out to keep it in play. And Aiken George. I don't think we can underestimate what that lady there has done for the Adelaide Thunderbirds after the thought of losing an Eleanor Cardwell in the recruitment period. Oh, Wilson. Well, the ball goes up and straight to the tip of Latanya Wilson. 5 deflections and 2 intercepts already in just a half of netball.
Yeah, Adelaide Thunderbirds with not a whole new attacking line, but they lost Tipper Dwan, they lost Eleanor Cardwell. So they've had Lauren Frew come in, they've had Romelda Aiken-George, as we can see here on the Harvey Norman replay. Latanya Wilson, just anything in the air, she will have a crack at. She's such an athlete. Dehaney leading the deflections right there, as we can see. So Katie-Ann Dehaney still leading those deflections with 7, followed by Wilson. Sterling Humphrey, we haven't mentioned her that much in this call so far, Sue. Oh, I think she heard me. She came out on the 45 for that one. Wanted to get some more hands on ball to keep up with her teammates.
Quick little offload with Garrett up against Fowler Nemart. But maybe that's a sign of things to come for Sterling Humphrey. Taking care of her direct opponent in the first 30. Now going to put the fear of God into everybody else in the second. Garrett. Long ball loves a goal assist, but it'll be an offload to Frew. And a good finish for Adelaide, so their confidence to be direct and forward continues. We talk about how good their defence end is, but we should shine not away from that. Look at the attack. Bang, 1-2. West Coast Fever. Return play at the other end. Garrett pass receives, she'll have nearly more than the wing attack at the moment.
I reckon it's a big part of their play, isn't it? Her coming off the back, it gives the option for the attacking end just to get down deep, come back at the ball, create plenty of space so they can get it on circle edge. Centre pass receives, being led there by Georgie Horges. Beckford 12, then Alice Teague-Neal. So dangerous, Alice Teague-Neal on that centre pass.
West Coast Fever attack. That's a little better from them. Natalie Medhurst, you would have enjoyed that passage. No, you wouldn't have enjoyed.
Right down into the pocket by Kransberg in particular, but the thing for Fever is where is the second lead coming? So they can use that drive to help draw out Sterling Humphrey, but they need that second option as another footwork to Aiken George.
So a little fumbly at both ends of the court from the spearheads in Aiken George. Fowler Nemmart. Hands from Fowler Nemmart. Oh, look at Katie Ann Dehaney looking at Aiken George. Oh, the look from Dehaney to Aiken George in that moment was gold. Frustrated that she wasn't setting up the penalty. Well, it's pretty smart because it allows Adelaide the time to set their defensive structure.
And haven't they? Have a look at this. They're really forcing the Fever to go through that middle, giving Sterling Humphrey an opportunity to get up and just tip that one out of court. They'll take that as a win.
Impeccable stuff. The defence here of Adelaide, and they go again. Well, it's just giving the ball to Shamira Sterling, and I don't take anything away from her skill. But 2 moments in a row, just taking enormous intercepts, 6-3. They are incredible. Garrett with Horges off the line, and then the awareness to know where Williams was. Well, right at this moment, as Frew lines up, I say to both my co-commentators, as we look at this Harvey Norman replay, that is just spectacular. Slow motion. Slow it down even more, it's so enjoyable. I say to both Natalie and Caitlin Bassett that many might have thought with the loss of Eleanor Cardwell that the reigning premiers may not be good enough. That is absolute you-know-what.
Yeah, I think for me it's Georgie Horges in that attacking end. She is that linchpin, whether she's in goal attack, whether she's in wing attack. She's really brought Frew into this environment, into this team, and allowed her to really blossom. And Aiken George, isn't she just an absolute survivor? She keeps posting up every single game. She gets whacked about week after week, but she just does her job.
Some more controlled passage of play there from the West Coast Fever, finding the front of Janelle Fowler Nemmart. 5 the difference, 8:30 to play out. We call it the premiership quarter. Like Thunderbirds leading at 8-5 at the moment. You can see beyond that last goal, it was 3 to the team in pink. Offload, Horges.
That was a beautiful bit of space. Melda Aiken-George just protected that space on the baseline. She could move into it out of the way of the hands of Katie Ann Dehaney.
Aiken-George giving thumbs up to the umpire, asking to get the ball back to the centre a little quicker. Nothing phases Aiken-George. Out wide. Teague-Neal, quick offload with Kransberg. And then the patience to sight where the ball needed to be placed away from the superstar, the goalkeeper for Adelaide. Kransberg steals the centre pass. Well, she's having some good moments, Jordan Kransberg. That's not one. It didn't really have a lot on it.
Oh, dangerous territory there for Fowler Nemmart. She can normally get away with stepping in on shots, but Sterling Humphrey just has that beautiful lean, and Jordan Kransberg with that win now gets the next centre pass for her team.
Fran Williams rolling on in the back of play. Teague-Neal. Fowler Nemmart was demanding the ball then. Caitlin, you've played the goal shooter role. You know when a goalkeeper's having a moment, you still want the ball to come to you, surely.
You do. It's such a juggle, Sue, between getting in the action and bringing your player into the action, or just staying calm and doing what you need to do. Take those rolls, keep posting up strongly, don't get too excited, don't start running around outside the circle, bringing your player into the mix.
Aiken-George doesn't even bother to get the ball back this time. Playing a few tricks with the head of Katie Ann Dehaney. Let's see how that unfolds. Anstis, again, Kranzberg finding the middle. Oh, and then Fowler Nemard, well, dribbles the ball again. And the words that came out of the mouth certainly describing how she's feeling in this game at the moment. Tanya Wilson. Adelaide Thunderbirds keep finding a defensive moment. And then their attacking side patiently doing the work. Fruit. Gorgeous, quick offload. Absolutely knew where Aiken George was, didn't even sight her.
Beautiful height on that ball. It had great weight. It just fell exactly where she needed it to. As she misses an easy one and then doesn't get the rebound. We can see the two Jamaicans having a bit of wrestle.
Here we go. All right, so that's a warning going to Aiken George. The penalty advanced. And Katie Ann Dehaney should be able to play on with that. Having to wait for Aiken George to walk into position is also, in my opinion, saying, you know what, to the umpires. Interesting.
It's delaying, isn't it? So
well,
it's allowing plays to set up.
Advance it again. In the meantime, the Fever at the other end. So let's take a look at this. Harvey Norman replay. Gee, interesting call. That's probably why Aiken George was frustrated. Williams, lovely high ball. Aiken George, a little showtime in the air. And takes the one, so 11-9 this quarter. Push their lead out by 2, holding a 4-goal lead Adelaide. Mariang on at wing defence. As the power 5 goes, Kranzberg. Beckford finds some space. Fowler Nemard steps in to take the single. 3 the difference. Williams, high ball, off the circle edge. The confidence for Adelaide to go long. Aiken George doesn't even need to jump for it. The ball hits the front and comes back so quickly, there's no chance for the defenders to get amongst it.
They're just finding so much space in their attacking end, the Thunderbirds. It's because they're turning so quickly and letting the ball go, and as we can see, just a little bit of confusion here. The Tanya Wilson out of play for a contact.
Fowler Nemard in the sweet spot, plays around with Garrett, gets another look at it. It was an obstruction. Goes to Beckford to take the penalty. Sets for the rebound. Is it needed? Well, it bounces out, so not falling for the West Coast Fever. 4 the difference, 3:43 on the clock. Adelaide into attack.
If you're Dan Ryan, what do you do now? Shanice Beckford, you know, she's only put up a couple of shots. She's missed 3 super shots now.
Oh
what a direct pass. That was absolutely brilliant. Eyes were down, threading the needle at its best. But we know Olivia Wilkinson can come on. We've seen her. Last week she got 22 minutes as we see the Harvey Norman replay. I love a direct ball like that. It's beautiful.
Oh, Dehaney gets the ball. I was just going to say, I love a shoulder pass, and that was rocketed by Horges. Dehaney keeping West Coast Fever in this defensively. Oh, Shamira Sterling-Humphrey, her timing to jump, again, elite.
Fowler Nemar did a great job. She brought her forward and then took her back, but there just wasn't enough space, and that ball really needs to have pepper on it. As you can see there, Katie Ann Dehaney, she has been incredible, just having a go at absolutely everything and really getting under the skin of Romelda Aiken-George as well.
Outside arm from Garrett, but the crumbs go to Fowler Nemard. Beckford to line up. Can't land it, but the ball this time will go with the home side, the Fever, trailing by 4. How do they play this one out? Oh, Shamira Sterling. She's now the 100-metre sprinter.
She's good in the air and on the ground, isn't she?
Impressive. That eventually drops. Suncorp Super Netball, and the super shot drops for Beckford. Her second from 6 attempts. to 2. Wilson. Aiken George out doing the work. Aiken George again. Steadies under the post, shooting at 83% today, just notches up another. 31 goals. There's that breakdown. So the Thunderbirds still owning this third quarter. High ball has to go to Fowler Nemard, contested by Garrett. So a chance for Beckford here to bring the game back to 1. And Fowler Nemard is having, I'm going to say, a bad day at the office rebounding.
She just seems a bit flustered, Sue. We've
Well,
seen
she
her
is.
drop a couple of sitters. She's normally really tight with the hands. Sterling Humphrey definitely getting the better in the air on things. I just love to see Fowler Nemard body up, use her strength, because that's what she has over Sterling Humphrey in the circle.
So after a little bit of mucking around, the West Coast Fever take a single goal with 40 seconds to play out here in the third quarter. Off the back to Wilson. To the difference. So an offensive contact on Taylor Williams.
What do Fever do here? Do they go for the 2-point? They've still got 20 seconds. Fowler Nemard. She's going safe. She's going the 1.
Well, it'll be their centre pass. So if they're, well, they won't be quick now. So they'll milk the clock. 7 seconds. Oh, gee, they're going to have to go big and long. High ball into Fowler Nemard. Takes it. And it's a contact call on the siren. Oh, gee, is this not entertaining? It's only the end of the third quarter. But to tie it up for the West Coast Fever, Fowler Nemard does just that. Well, no smiles on the face of the coach of the West Coast Fever, but it's smiles on the face of the fans all around the country as we have a terrific game coming away. 15 minutes to find out who wins this absolute battle between the top of the table and the reigning premiers. Will be back right after this.
Guys, just be really disciplined when we've got the ball. So if we're getting like caught with Georgie and Tay across here, we need an inside connector there. So we want to get a square and a drive down. But if this person gets it and doesn't give this one, we've got to have an inside so that we can go again. Yeah?
So that was quarter time again, brought to you by Origin Energy, and Tanya Robst certainly driving the directions to her side, just with that final score bringing West Coast Fever level, and they won the quarter 16-14, Caitlin. And it is almost impossible to hear anything in this stadium. It is so loud, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. 7,824 fans here today, all dressed in green, or majority of them in green. I'm sure there's some pink supporters there somewhere, but it's deafening in here. It's great to see such a packed stadium for Saturday night netball.
Well, you have no doubt that both sides would have come into this game not only knowing it was going to be close, but embracing the opportunity to have a really pressured game of netball, because we're only at round 6, Caitlin, but this sets you up for the season ahead and potentially finals for both of these sides.
Yeah, like Coach Dan Ryan said before, you don't always get 36-goal wins. You've got to have these tight ones, because this is what's going to happen later on down the track as they get closer to finals, and it's so good to know how your team goes under pressure.
Game of the round, 15 minutes to unfold. Side up, 42 apiece. And it's been up and down for both sides. One thing we know, though, there has been defensive brilliance at both ends of the court. And what unfolds in this 15? Aiken George with the first of the quarter. Ransburg in at wing attack, change of direction. And then the nice high release over the big jump of Sterling Humphrey. Horges out wide. Terrific little over-the-top pass, and under the pressure of Williams keeps the ball in play. That's what I love about Adelaide, just their willingness to back in their skill. Oh, hand from Anstis. Crumbs, though, to Adelaide.
What I love about Fran Williams, she actually contests the pass. She comes around and she has a crack at the pass, which is, it's pretty rare for defenders. They normally sit back and wait for the pass to come to the player, but she gets out there and has a go.
Well, Aiken George indicating to the umpire you've got it wrong. West Coast Fever, though, they're going to take the ball irrespective. Fran Williams in a goal defence. So the defensive line-up here for the West Coast Fever, the same as their starting 7. Oh, gee! Oh, it is nothing short of a pleasure to commentate Shamira Sterling-Humphrey and just watch her insane brilliance.
She just gets serious hang time. Have a look here on the Harvey Norman replay. Both amazing athletes, both have incredible vertical elevation, but just the serious hang time. She jumped early. She came down a little bit too early and just missed out on that one, but boy, is it scary when she goes up for a ball.
Spare a thought for every team that has to feed a ball against her and the rest of this Adelaide Thunderbirds defence. In the meantime, the West Coast Fever are gaining a bit of confidence in attack. They lead by 2.
This is a better ball here, as we can see on the Harvey Norman replay. If it's out in front, it gives Fallon Emart an opportunity to protect the ball with her body, snap it in. Oh, as we can see here, a turnover. Beckford comes up with the ball and it flies down the court for the Fever.
Oh, and Garrett steals one. Ransburg not realising she was sweeping in on the right shoulder.
Just a rush of blood to the head then. Thunderbirds got that ball and they get it again. They just can't manage to get it on court. They're getting all the tips and touches.
Your heart would be in your mouth as a Fever fan. Your heart would be in your mouth as an Adelaide Thunderbirds fan and as Jamaican fans watching this unfold.
So this was the first one. Tilly Garrett, she picked up the tip, ended up out of court. Shamira Sterling-Humphrey followed up. Dan Ryan, he's happy, he's sad, all these range of emotions. He's going to be exhausted after the game.
Oh, what a pleasure this is. 46-43, a little sneaking in front here by the West Coast Fever. A 4-1 start to this final quarter. And the HF tactical timeout called by the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
Okay, I don't want you looking for second phase, I want you to get depth. And I want you to be the inside connector through here when George lands. Yeah, and then we can get this down. Oh, no, you're going into goal attack. Yeah. So what we got to make sure, let's just, like, what are we comfortable with? Doing a cross to start with? Yeah. We can't, let's think about if Tay is hanging around here, it's going to have to be you getting down and depth and around. LUV moves. LUV moves. Let's go. Let's go. What are we doing? We're doing perfect defensively. We shut down. We've got this game, okay, girls? We're hunting. T-Birds hungry. 1, 2, 3. T-Birds. Let's go.
Well, interesting there listening to Thunderbirds coach Tanya Obbs. She's telling Georgie Horges to use L, U and V moves. So do you know what that one spells out?
I don't know, a bit of love, that's all I care about. A whole bunch of, no, not a great deal of love happening on this court between these two sides. The last 10 goals, gee, only 2 to the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They certainly haven't been great finishers this season. The West Coast Fever, on the other hand, they have been. Oh, gee, and that's what they do. So smashing that first phase defence. Beckford, Captain Anstis, stepping up, goes again. So the contact call on Sterling-Humphrey is Fallon Emart slots in number 40.
Well, this is where Fever really put the pressure back on Thunderbirds, don't they? They got that turnover. They've got this centre pass now. They've got a 5-goal lead. They can score this one at 6 and then they go from there.
So a short pass is the call. Great moment here for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Off the hands of Jordan Cransberg. Let's get down to Natalie Medhurst. Oh! Come on, Nat, you can call that moment.
Very impressive there by Fallon Emma. Defensive effort all round. And I think that's what's really picked up for Fever is their defensive effort. But it's been led by Jordan Cransberg for me. The way in which she is attacking and really being able to take on the player, give those give and goes has been really impressive and has really then lifted this entire Fever side.
Laura Sherian on. Great vision, direct, confident. Oh, gee, but it's an offensive contact.
That is huge. Thunderbirds, look, they've really thrown the bibs around.
And then Hannah Petty. Wow, sorry, Caitlin, but Hannah Petty was sitting there and waiting for that moment. And that is what captains do when they're needed.
And that's often the best time to get an intercept, isn't it, Sue? It's straight off the back of another one. She was waiting, as we can see here, the Harvey Norman replay. Romelda Aiken-George, she wasn't happy with that one, was she?
Well, we didn't have absolute side-on vision, but we had great vision to that moment. Both Jess Anstis and Hannah Petty leading as captains in this final quarter. Taylor Williams back in that comfortable centre position.
So we'd see now for the Thunderbirds, Georgie Hoare just slotting back into that goal attack position. Laura Sherian comes into wing attack. I feel like this is what their go-to is when the pressure is down. They have 9 minutes left in this game. They really need to start pushing ahead if they're going to try and get this win and not put too much pressure come that super shot period.
Oh, Latonya Wilson, she read the dodge. I tell you what, though, it was a tough moment. Not many would have got to that, but brilliance from the Jamaican goal defence. 8 intercepts to 5. And here's their moment to really put the West Coast Fever under pressure.
And look, wasn't that just a let-off? Absolutely well read there by Sunday Ariane, getting up, getting 2 hands, nice and strong to it, and Fever absolutely flying down the court. All they need to do is steady here.
So the reward it was off Ariane's hand to Fowler Nemart. For Latonya Wilson, though. Harvey Norman replay. The dodge and then just the speed to cut off the line of the ball. So we're just trying to understand here. So it is a contact on Fran Williams. And the direct play for Adelaide Thunderbirds, you can just see the confidence continues to hit their targets at both ends of the court.
Yeah, both defenders and both teams taking a risk. We saw there with Latonya Wilson before she picked up that intercept, and Fran Williams really driving hard to the post to try and pick up that one off. Oh, Latonya Wilson. Anytime the ball is in the air, she has eyes for it and she is going for it.
So the West Coast Fever weathering the pressure defensively of the Thunderbirds and slotting in a half century with 7:34 on the clock. An 8-4 start to this quarter for the top of the table, the Fever. And they are certainly feeling a newfound pressure in round 6, HCF tactical timeout. And it is called by the home side, Dan Ryan. Chance to get in amongst his team. Look at the intensity.
Really quickly, 5 on the ball moment. Eyes for a cross-court intercept, all right? So really aggressive on that wall. Got to make sure we stay here. Nothing loopy cross-court. Lane 1, lane 2. Yeah. All right, lane 1 into lane 2. Stay with that, all right? When Jay's sitting up nice and high too, she's got a great angle towards the post and let that ball go. Well done. Good. Okay, hands in, guys. Let's make sure we come out of this break. Everyone's surging. Let's back in some strategy here. Really aggressive transverse line dominance. 5 on the ball. Let's get one. Here we go.
Well, Caitlin, there's plenty to be said about the 14 players out on court experiencing the pressure, but both Tanya Robst and Dan Ryan will be relishing this as well, won't they, as coaches?
Yeah, look, I think coaching is by far the hardest position. You can tell your troops everything, but you can't actually get out there and do it yourself. And this has been a game that's had everything. There's been highs and lows. There's been lead changes. There's been beautiful shots, beautiful intercepts. So, yeah, look, it's definitely something that coaches get caught up in as well, and something that they will relish.
Natalie Medhurst inside the Thunderbirds huddle.
Job's asking Aiken George to really making sure that she gets on that body, has a strong hold. From her mid-court, she wants them to be using angles, working the triangles as well around the edge of the circle. And throughout that break, Lucy Austin was spent the entire time shooting. So no doubt expect to see her come on, particularly when the super shot period comes up.
Well, we know what Lucy Austin's capable of. Seen how that's unfolded in season 2023. That lady there on screen enjoys a super shot under the most extreme pressured moments. Will she get her moment here today? Three the difference with 6:47 on the clock. Oh, gee, Shamira Sterling-Humphrey getting under the feet of Jess Anstis. You could see, though, she made an attempt to pull out of the moment. Just realising, so Harvey Norman replay, let's walk you through this. Out looking, but realises she was late. You can see the facial expression change. How does the umpire call the moment? Okay, really well umpired then. So she's spoken directly to Sterling-Humphrey and said, just adjust your timing, quite sternly, but didn't warn her. I love that, Caitlin.
Yeah, there was no malice in that. She went out, and that's the hard thing as a defender. You're looking at the ball, you're looking at the player. She probably just dropped her eyes and took her eyes off that player, collecting Jess Anstis, but she tried to hold her. There was no malice in it.
So an easy play to post for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Kranzberg under pressure. High ball, the winner. Fowler Nemard. Play on, says the umpire. Kranzberg out wide. Beckford, timing not there. Oh, gee, this is a hard-fought, tiring game. Defensively, both sides having to work the ball. Anstis waits for Beckford. And then the smart offload, Shanice Beckford, only 2 from 2 today, both super shots. And that is an enormous leap from the 34-year-old.
Lucy Austin slotting back into that goal shooter position there for the Thunderbirds. This is what we do see often for them in the 2-point period, which is coming up now. Her connection with Georgia Horges is fantastic. They grew up playing together.
Well, they give each other confidence, and they know from behind they're going to probably have to find some super shot moments. Fowler on the Power 5 siren, 4 in front by the Fever. Chariot working with Horges, back to the line though. The pressure now on defensively from Fever. Sunday Ariane goes looking. Anstis does as well. Deflection though, but the ball for the team in pink.
Dan Ryan was telling his troops no loopy passes in that last break, and I feel like Tanya Obb should have said the same thing. There's a lot of high passes, which is exactly what Sunday Ariang loves.
Easier said than done, isn't it? So Alice Teague-Neal just about to roll onto the court with just over 4:20 to play. Now the Adelaide Thunderbirds tactically using their HCF timeout here. 3 to play out. Should I say 3 the difference in the scoreline? Let's hear from the coach.
Okay, to try and maybe draw the goalkeeper. You're going to be either protecting side or presenting on the opposite side, just not the opposite side to the goal defence, or through the middle. All right? Inside connectors now, look after one another, finish it off. Okay, here we go. All right, let's go. On centre pass. Okay, Mandy. Yep, okay, defensively we're clear down the middle, it's great pressure, we're going to get the tip. Okay, this is about our heart. The second one we're going, goal attack trying. Girls, this is our moment, yeah?
Take them
Let's
to the
go.
dunk, please. Take them to the dunk, please.
Let's go. T-Birds on 3. 1, 2, 3.
They talk about this as their moment. Oh, they're missing net points. Match leaders tell us that Horges and Williams are on fire. 91 and 73. Kranzberg being good today for the West Coast Fever. The Adelaide Thunderbirds have been in this position historically on this court and found their way in the last few minutes to sneak their nose in front with a super shot on the siren by none other than Eleanor Cardwell, now their enemy. How does the last 4 minutes and 22 seconds play out? here at RAC Arena in Perth, the second of our Saturday games. Terrific round 6 action. West Coast Fever and the Adelaide Thunderbirds, head-to-head. Ariane.
I was about to say, we're so used to seeing Eleanor Cardwell give a rousing speech to the team. It's great to hear Hannah Petty use her voice as the captain to tell her team what she wants in this last 5 minutes.
Natalie Medhurst, Dan Ryan would have had a lot to say or a little. He just had a HCF tactical timeout and he was forced to go again.
He had a lot to say. He wants them to really work on the wall of the centre pass, and the other one was around the 2-point shot. He wants them to just chip away at the ones for the first few minutes before looking at the 2-point.
So tactics from both sides as they work their way through. Lucy Austin in range. Horges likes it from here. Goes to Austin instead. A big moment for the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and the 22-year-old does exactly what she's been put on the court to do. Drops the Suncorp super shot to the difference.
I wasn't sure that one went through because it was absolutely silent here in the stadium. Not one person put their hands together to cheer that shot, that's for sure.
I think they heard me scream the moment. Well, this is a pressure moment for the West Coast Fever. So a delay being called on Georgie Horges. So the ball moves to the top of the circle. The single taken by Fowler Nemard. 3 the difference. Petty, the captain. Quickly gets moving. Sherian at the top, straight through the middle. They want Horges. Does it land? No, it doesn't. Could be a big moment for the Fever. The rebound to Fran Williams. Teague Neal. They only need to take the one. It's their centre pass to follow. Is that the moment? Beckford. Oh, wayward for Teague Neal. The hustle from Williams. Too late, the contact call.
That was really smart from Teague Neal there. She protected the ball with her body. Williams was on her hammer trying to flick that one back in and get it into Thunderbirds' hands, but just very smart play to maintain possession.
Well, potentially a little bit of wind out of the sails with 5 the difference, but there's still 2 minutes and anything is possible. The last 3 to the Fever. Sherian doesn't find Austin, but Petty gets the scraps. Dehaney. Oh, here we go. Katie Ann Dehaney has been asked to be quiet and stand out of play. And now she's been warned. She's been told the next time she speaks back, it's a warning. And they get a second go at the goal.
Okay, so does Dan Ryan pull her from the court now? Do you take her off and put someone else on? Because we know next time the ball goes down that end, she is going to be scrutinised.
Well, again, we talk about moments in game. If the Adelaide Thunderbirds turn the ball over here, that could be the moment. Teague Neal to Kransberg. The defence from the Adelaide Thunderbirds are capable, and they are just now. Williams, a moment to steal the show with a minute on the clock. Horges is quick. Oh, that's an offensive contact on Lucy Austin. Wow. Well, Katie Ann Dehaney a moment ago being told, be careful, and doesn't shy away. Incredible. So the West Coast Fever, playing around with the ball, put themselves under unbelievable pressure with 40 on the clock.
They weren't out of danger there, were they? West Coast Fever just really struggling to get the ball out. Lucy Austin, what can she do for her team? This one's got to sink.
Oh, it needs to go, and it does, under enormous pressure. And now a chance for the Adelaide Thunderbirds to win the game. 24 seconds, 1 down. Austin to put them in front. No, the rebound to the Fever. Won the difference, 12 seconds, Teague Neal. They only need to take possession of the ball. The West Coast Fever. Latanya Wilson. 3 seconds, the clock is going to beat them. Oh, what an enormous game that was. Somehow, the West Coast Fever hold on by a solitary goal and turn the table on the Adelaide Thunderbirds from 2023. I'm exhausted.
That was a brilliant finish. Fever exacting their revenge on the Thunderbirds. 1 goal. They were just so smart the way they played it. They kept possession in the dying seconds. Katie Dehaney, for me, incredible. She could have backed off, but she didn't. She took everything that came her way tonight. She has been absolutely dominating.
57 to 56. That ending needs to be replayed over and over again. Mistakes on both behalves, moments of brilliance on both behalves. 6 Jamaicans entertaining amongst a whole bunch of others. And are we staring at 2 teams that might just be at the pointy end in season 2024? The West Coast Fever will stay at the top of the ladder, undefeated so far this season. After the Vixens took that loss today against the Lightning. Let's get straight down to Natalie Medhurst with a lady whose name and surname, Deganey, is going to be like enormous amongst the fans.
Our player of the match, Katie Ann, what a phenomenal game, and particularly by you. 10 deflections, 4 games, huge effort. Coming into this, were you certainly expecting that?
No. Well, you know, the Jamaicans are very competitive, so we expected a really good game, but not to come away with a 1-goal win, but we're grateful for the win.
And it was a bit of a slow start for the side, but you came out firing, particularly in that second half. What was the message from Dan Ryan in the change room?
We were below standard, especially at the start with work rate. We decided that we needed to half-time, this is the line. When we get back out here, we need to apply the pressure, lift the standard of our work rate.
And it's fair to say you guys have managed to go through the season quite comfortably, some really big wins. This was probably is the first time that you've really been challenged in that way. Do you think that is good for you guys moving forward, particularly next week coming up against the Vixens?
Yeah, oh yeah. We practice these situations at training all the time, so I feel like we were prepared for this moment. So I think coming up against the Vixens, it's going to be a definitely hard game as well. They're a world-class team. They're very good. So I feel like it's going to be a good encounter as well.
And the battle with you in the goal circle down there was just so fantastic to watch throughout the entire game. Fair to say you and Romelda had a nice little battle going on. But we talk about those dying seconds. You got warned or cautioned by the umpire. What was going through your head, particularly in those dying minutes when there was an opportunity for them to potentially have a crack at a 2-point shot?
To be honest, I was like, settle down. I was getting a bit carried away, even with the umpire, so I feel like I needed to get focused and, hold my composure. I was getting a little bit carried away, so I just said to myself that I need to settle down a little bit. Well,
settle down you did. A fantastic result, great win. Go and enjoy the win with your teammates and recover.
So there you have it, Katie Ann Dehaney, our player of the match here in this incredible game. As the West Coast Fever eventually find a way to put a smile on their face. 6 straight wins to start the season. That one, though, will be remembered throughout the week. Just how hard it was, Caitlin.
I tell you what, there was a smile on my face after hearing Katie Ann Dehaney admit that she was just getting a bit out of control. Look, having a look at the match summary, it really was so tight. Turnovers, 22 all. Contacts, really the Fever only had 2 more than the Thunderbirds. Missing net points, oh so close. It was the gains for me that really stood out. Thunderbirds stood up when they needed to. They had 12 games to Fever's 9, but Fever managed to score when they needed it.
So a 1-goal thriller, should I say. And take a look now at the ladder. The West Coast Fever, 6 straight wins. Their percentage soaring, 129. The Adelaide Thunderbirds sit in a comfortable 3rd position, so a little bit of a stretch away in the comp. Sunshine Coast Lightning, though, getting an enormous victory today over the Melbourne Vixens. Liz Watson returning home. And, of course, big games still to unfold. The Swifts and the Giants, and then the Firebirds and the Mavericks. So there you have it, Dan Ryan. Now just relaxing the shoulders and putting a bit of a smile on their face. Shanice Beckford enjoying the moment. We're going to head to the break now, and There you go, a little bit of dancing coming from the Jamaicans, the West Coast Fever. 1-goal victors, and we're going to wrap it up in our post-game show. I hope you enjoyed 60 minutes of brilliant netball here on Fox. We'll be back in just a moment.